they would not even bat an eye and think they messed up. Not one bit. Hello, friends. So tonight I am sitting here chilling in my recliner, and I'm going to do a reaction video. This is going to be a reaction to car lot detailing. I was having a conversation with a Facebook friend that about car lot detailing, and he mentioned that Mr. Carlos had a video recently that he had put out about car lot detailing. And I remembered that video, and he said, my friend said, why don't you do a reaction to it? Now, the goal for the reaction is not so much to, get grossed out, but it's more about opinion versus opinion. Now, before I even get started, I want to put a couple of disclaimers out. The first of which is Mr. Carlos has a lot more years of experience than I do. I am not dismissing that. His opinion is his. I may toss out an opinion that differs, but I cannot honestly, I can't honestly disagree with most anything that he says, because I have not experienced probably a lot of the things that he experienced. So I just wanted to put that out there. And the other is, it is just opinion versus opinion. And Mr. Carlos, I mean no ill will. I respect your opinion, because if I didn't, I would not watch your videos. So with that and the disclaimers out there, let's get started and see what Mr. Carlos has to say.
Guys, God bless you. Carlos here with Serranos Mobile Detail in Dallas, Texas. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. Today we are at Toyota of Dallas, where we purchased our Corolla and we also purchased our GR. So this is our preferred dealership, but today I'm actually here working on this BMW, which actually belongs to the car salesman who sold us our vehicles. So shout out to him for giving us a good deal on our cars, right? But today he actually booked an appointment where we're going to be cleaning his BMW. But really the main focus of today's video is I want to talk to you guys about car dealership detailing. It was a question that was asked very recently about how do I handle that? Do I recommend it? Is something I want to do? Because obviously they saw the video yesterday that I was at Audi, right? So they thought, and then I had talked about it on my Instagram, and it was a question that was asked. So I'm definitely going to be talking to you guys exactly about that topic. So without further ado, let's get started on this video. Now that we are about 7 years into my business, do I recommend car lots? And the answer to that is I'll recommend them if you are just starting, right? If you're just starting your business, a car lot is always going to be your best form of connection to getting some work quickly. Car lots are always looking for a detailer, because that detailer starts realizing that he is charging way too cheap. And what do? They leave, right? So it happens all the time. Car lots call you and say, hey, I need some cars detailed. The last guy, he's no longer coming, and all those scenarios. And the reason is because the detailers start realizing their worth. They start realizing that, man, I am charging way too cheap for all the work that I'm doing, right? But if you're just starting your business, definitely go to a car lot to get the experience, to gain the knowledge, to gain speed, right? Because you're going to be working on so many different vehicles. You're going to be working on so many scenarios, repos, and it's going to help you for your portfolio by having before and after.
So let me respond to that first part. He is right. Even though I have only worked for one car lot and he's worked for multiple, the one thing that I have to agree on is that, and I've said it on my videos, that is where you're going to learn. You cannot go into dealership detailing thinking you're going to make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every month. It's just not going to happen. But if you dive in for a year and start learning, which there is a plethora of things to learn, I am still learning. So, yes, if you're going to start, do it at a dealership. I do agree.
I will say one of the key benefits of working at a car lot, at a car dealership, is the continuous work you will get. Now, car dealerships is guaranteed you will have work. Car lots tend to start off with you as a good client. They'll start off with you making sure that they give you 5 or 6 cars per day, right, of the days that you're scheduled to come, right, to keep you happy, satisfied. But slowly you'll start realizing and you'll start noticing that the car lot starts switching it up on you. You'll start noticing a decrease in volume, right? You went from doing 5 to 6 cars. Now you're only getting 3 cars per the day scheduled. And now what's happening right now they're controlling you. Now they've taken over what their intentions was all along, and that was to get you in, lock you in. And now there's days that you literally have no work. And then slowly they'll end up pretty much cutting it down to just 1 car per week, right? And they'll tell you, man, we've been slow, and they give you that one, the we've been slow excuse. And now they'll tell you, well, we'll call you when we get something in, right? But a car lot will always have work.
Okay, I got to stop right there. Him and I are going to disagree on that point. Car lots are not always going to have work. If you're dealing with small car lots, that is not an absolute. It's just not. Also, cars are sold less during the Christmas season and before tax season, meaning anything from right around Thanksgiving up until the end of January. That is the slow season, not because it's wintertime, but because people are spending their money on Christmas presents and not cars. There are fewer people getting cars as Christmas presents than you would probably think. And then in January, sales in any business, I don't care what your business is, sales stop, almost stop, because people are trying to recover from all the spending they did at Christmas. So January is a slow month for any business. And you also have to factor in the weather, the seasons, and things like that, because where Mr. Carlos is, you might be able to work in the month of January. A lot of us, and I'm just 2 states away from the man, we don't have work in January hardly at all because it's too freaking cold. So I wanted to kind of put that out there. I disagree with Mr. Carlos on that because he was probably on the side of the dealerships where he didn't see the inner workings. I'm close enough to it because it's my parents that work there that I see the slow times. You also have slow times in the fall, but it's not slow like it is around that November to January time frame. So just wanted to put that out there.
Now they can use you and abuse you as they please. So before that happens, your best bet is to write them a contract, right? And just write them a contract saying, you know, you're guaranteed 5 cars minimum per visit. If they don't, you're still gonna get paid for the 5 cars per minimum. Something like that to keep you covered, right? And I know to some people that doesn't make sense, but at the end of the day, you're running a business, right? And they're messing with your money. Or just move on and leave that car lot really quickly, because they'll realize that they have messed up. And trust me, they'll start calling you and say, hey man, we got cars. But guess what? By then, you've already moved on. You got to move on quickly, find another outsource, another outcome, maybe find you another car lot or something. Because now that you start playing the car lot game, which you just tell them, hey man, unfortunately I found another car lot that's willing to give me the work at a better price. And due to that, my price has gone up.
Okay, so a car lot is not going to mess up and think they need to have you. That's the unfortunate part. So I do disagree with Mr. Carlos on that. However, there are some dealerships, like the individual small mom and pops, that they look for a detailer that they can work with no matter what. And they are usually going to pay a reasonable price. The big ones, or bigger, or the medium sized ones, no, not so much. The reason I say that is because there are so many $40 and $50 dealership detailers out there. They would let you go in a heartbeat. They would not even bat an eye and think they messed up. Not one bit.
Now, if you do decide to start your journey at a car lot, I highly recommend that when you're doing a car lot, the name of the game is savings, because that's the name of the game that the car lot is also playing, is savings. So you have to try and find your least expensive items, if that makes sense, as far as products, right? As far as products, you want to use the least expensive, because you don't want to be using your PNS stuff. You don't want to use like your high quality products, if that makes sense, right? So
Yes, I agree. You need to use the least expensive products. And I thought about doing a video like about that, because you will see, I'm telling you, I will use LA totally awesome, because when you buy even the spray bottles and the gallon, it's in concentrated form. So you have to dilute it. A lot of people think all you have to do is buy it in the spray bottle and start using it. You do not want to do that. Just don't do it. Yeah, you can use the Zep product that he mentioned. I will buy Mean Green, which is the knockoff from Simple Green. Um, I don't use a lot of my Flex products that Mr. Carlos gifted to me. I don't use those very often in the dealership cars. So you would have to, make sure that the Zep product would be a good option there. The other thing that you really need to consider is, if you are going to be in business and you want to detail at a dealership, you have to learn or make a plan where those two are kept separate. Meaning, outside customers are done one way, the dealerships are done another way. Now, let me speak to this. Carlos a minute ago mentioned that you should have a contract. In that contract, it should state the expectations. Dealership details usually come to you freaking trashed. I mean, my dad seems to find the good, cleaned up ones for the most part. But the other seller that I was detailing for in the beginning, he got the trashiest ones he could find. You can have, like, if you watch Mr. Carlos's channel, he's got different packages and they stair step up and all of that. Why can't you do that for a dealership? Because, like he said, in the end, they're not worried about so much the condition of the car. They're more worried about how much you're going to charge them. And sometimes, if you kind of fluctuate with 2 or 3 different price points, that might actually help dealing with a dealership.
Another thing I think I didn't mention is, aside from car lots, another type of group that I tend to not do business with, and that's just preference, is the people that do buy and sells, right? The people that go buy a car, repair it, and then now they want it detailed, right? I also don't do business with that style of customers, for the reason that they are just like a car lot. They want to pay you the least, and what they're gonna do is they are literally gonna flip it and charge like double the price for that car, right? But yet they don't want to spend the money on that vehicle.
Flipper details is what I call those. Yes. They are just like car lots. And again, you have to voice your expectations. And, you know, you can start or stop any detail, whether it's at a dealership or for a flipper, just by asking for some pictures. In fact, my mother, when she says to me, she'll text me and say, I have a detail, or we have a car, or whatever. The first question I ask her is, how bad is it? And a lot of times, if it's bad, she'll send me pictures. She won't even explain it. So you can, and really, I get it that we're supposed to make things easier for ourselves if we're in business, but we need to maintain work ethic. If it is too much for you to ask questions, ask for pictures, you probably shouldn't be in business, because in order to be in business, you have to have work ethic that is highest of the high. I'm not kidding. Otherwise, you're going to fail.
But that's another style of clientele that I don't like to work with. Some do pay your price, but majority of them are always looking for a special deal, right? They're always looking for a special deal, and it's like, it just doesn't work like that. And I wish that they could understand that you know, it's not on their pricing, it's on your pricing, right? They want the best, and I tell that to everybody. They always want the best, but they don't want to pay for the best. They want to pay mediocre prices. Like, I don't even know where they come up with these prices, right? And they're always going to tell you, like, oh, I had somebody that did it for 40. We'll call them. What happened? Oh, well, they don't answer the phone no more. I wonder why. Because the detailer slowly realized.
Actually, dealerships and flippers know exactly where they got those numbers for. It came to them. If they have a bottom line of what they're willing to spend on a car, that's where that comes from. They know where it comes from, Mr. Carlos. You and I can definitely agree on that if you would just listen to what you just said. Yes, that's because they are looking at their bottom line of what they want to spend. And so they say, well, and 99% of the time, and I know he knows exactly what I'm talking about. People who get you on the phone, even outside customers, will go, well, I had a guy offer to do it for $100. It don't matter if it's a dealership, a flipper, or an outside customer. You're going to get people like that because they don't want to pay the price. It is what it is.
But I hope in today's conversation about car detailing, car dealerships or car lot detailing hopefully kind of made sense to you, right? Car lots are great because they do keep you busy, but at the same time, they will diminish your value very, very quickly, drastically. And then at the end, you end up with like no cars for maybe 2 weeks. That dealership doesn't get you any more cars. So that is usually one of the reasons why I tend to kind of steer away from car lots and car dealerships. Now, there are some dealerships and car lots that are willing to pay your price, right? Because they want good work, right? And that's where we come in. But I always tell them up front, I'm very blunt about it. I tell them, hey, I just want you to know that in my business, I don't give no discounts. I don't do no bulk discounts. I will not decrease the value of what I provide to give you comfort or just a hookup. I only give hookups for people that actually do use my services, right? I tell them, I don't even give my family discounts. They pay full price. Why should I give you a discount? Right? But
like I have said in the beginning, I respect his opinion, and his opinion is based on his experience. I will completely and wholeheartedly disagree to the day that I die that anybody in the outside world is going to diminish your value. Your value is not in the amount of a dollar. It is not dollar signs. Your value is in here. That is where your value comes from. It all comes down to confidence. But there's a difference between confidence and getting into where you are egotistical. Now, I'm not saying that because that is how I feel about him. When you get to a point where you are cocky, confidence no longer plays a role in that. And again, money is the root of all evil, Mr. Carlos. And so no dollar amount can put a value on you. That's how I feel. That is my opinion. And you have watched my journey from day one. Everybody has. From day one, you've seen my failures. You've seen my successes. You've seen my confidence hit rock bottom, and you've seen it come up here. It changes from day to day, but my value as a person and the work that I put into every single detail, that comes from here. My value is based on me, not anybody's money. So I just want to finish up by saying that, like I said, Mr. Carlos's opinions are based on his experience. And he is much, much more experienced than I am. But I look at things a little differently because of my experience, because of business experience, because of different things in my life, just as it is with his. Also, I don't want people thinking that because you detail at a car lot, that makes you less of a detailer. I've had a lot of people tell me that. And I used to let that tear me down a little bit. Now, at least I can say I am still out here working. If you're going to be in business as a detailing company, you should probably have a fleet side. Not so much have a crew to do that, but if you cut out car lots altogether and it's winter time and you don't have a car lot to call, just remember that on those days when you don't have any outside customers. Because, no disrespect to Mr. Carlos, people aren't calling most of us every day. Outside customers, they don't call our companies every day. Many of us are still down here in that first year. and it just doesn't happen for us like it may happen for him. And I always have to remind myself of that my outside customer count is definitely not the same as his. So, like I said, I just felt like an opinion versus an opinion would be kind of fun. I do agree with 80%, 85% of everything that he said. Some of it I can't gauge because I don't have that experience. But there was a couple of things that I completely disagreed with. So, but either way, his experience is his and mine is mine and yours is yours. Thanks for hanging out on my channel for a minute, guys. I sure appreciate it. And until the next video, we'll see you later.